What's going on, everybody?
Hey, y'all.
How's it going?
Yeah.
Welcome back once again to Our Love Won't Fail.
As always, if you haven't done so already, do us a favor and hit that red subscribe button that's at the bottom and click the bell over to the side so that you get all notifications when we post our next video, which, like I told y'all, we trying for every Thursday.
We'll be here.
Yes. So today we decided to do something a little bit different. We've been getting in a great influx of emails, text messages, DMs, instant messages, all that good stuff, asking us questions. So today we decided to do a Q&A. We are going to answer the questions using our perspective as a married couple. Ready to get busy?
Yes.
All right. So, the first question that I have is, how do you balance marriage, ministry, and owning a business? That's a great question because yes, we are married, yes, we are in the ministry, and we own our own business. And so, my answer for that would be time management. Everything has a place, everything has a time. I have business hours, and so after those business hours, it's kind of like, okay, that has to stop because now I have to pick up family. I have to deal with my husband, I have to deal with the kids, and then there are certain days and times, and everybody knows with ministry there's no specific day or time cutoff. Sometimes you have to change just a little bit to fit in God's work, which is the most important work that we do. And then He will then make room for all of those other things. Yes, my family is very, very important to me, just as well as my business, but the work that God has me here to do is more important. And so I make time for His work, and then He makes sure I have time for everything else.
Also making sure that you prioritize, put things in order from the greatest to the least, I'm going to say. So when we have, because of us having our own business, we want to make sure that we have things in order. So we know this order needs to get out, this order needs to be done, this order needs to be shipped. As far as our marriage goal, we want to make sure, okay, we got that side, make sure that side's taken care of. We want to make sure we're good. Do we need to go and have a date night? Do we need to have some alone time? Do we need to make something impromptu, or just, you know what, we've been doing too much and focusing on this, we need to get away ourselves. So make sure you prioritize. That's going to be really, really big in helping you stay focused on maintaining each of those things as well.
Absolutely. And just as a side note, there is no I in this team. And so whatever I'm trying to do, he's trying to do. So we're making sure we are hitting goals left and right. We are in this together.
All right, next question I have is there anything that instantly changes between you and your mate once you say I do, other than last names? Nah, it ain't. There's nothing that instantly changes, because just like in the dating phase, when you get to the honeymoon phase of everything, you still want to almost put on your best show. You try and make sure that you still look great and everything is right and you smell good and your hair is in the right. Even in a honeymoon portion, you guys might have been dating for 5, 6, 7 years. But once you say I do and you get to that honeymoon portion, the first 3, 4 years, you're still trying to make sure that they think that you are everything and a bag of chips plus some sour cream and dip and chili and pico de gallo.
That's gross.
Or whatever you put on your, I'm like nachos.
Well, you said a bag of chips, so I'm like, okay, chili and cheese, you had me.
You get the chip. I didn't even say chili.
Yeah, he did. See, he don't even remember what he said.
You still are trying to almost in a sense make it seem like it's like the very first time you guys are seeing each other and meeting each other again. So nothing actually instantly changes. Now, once you have moved in together, you guys now see your habits, you see how they keep up, they get to see your keep up. You see all of a sudden they like to leave stuff in certain places that might be your pet peeve. You might leave stuff in certain places or dishes or something like that that they don't necessarily like. And now all of a sudden now you begin to see, oh man.
My cup collection.
Is this what I signed on for? And once you said I do, no, yes, that's what you signed on for. And that's when things will begin to take a turn or you'll begin to compromise into what is liked and what is disliked, what should be done, what shouldn't be done. You can say, hey, you can leave your drawers here, but don't leave them over there. I'm just saying.
What?
Some people don't mind their dirty drawers on one side, but don't leave your dirty drawers on the other side. They just might not like it.
Now, on the flip side of that, if you guys have already lived together prior to marriage, then expect no sudden changes. Maybe down the line, they may become a little more possessive, a little more needy of your time. But other than that, if you guys have already lived together, it's kind of like a breeze. We didn't live together before we got married, so it was kind of we had to get used to everything at the same time. And it was great. It was a little difficult, but it was great.
Different. It was different, of course.
Yes. And a little secret, my husband folds his dirty clothes. And so it's very, very hard for me to figure out what the heck was clean and what the heck was dirty. And so I had to kind of get him out of that habit. And so now I have him out of that habit. And I am so excited that I have him out of that habit of folding his dirty clothes, because now I know what's dirty and now I know what's clean.
Yeah, so nothing instantly changes, but as time goes on, you'll see, hey, we probably need to talk about this.
Absolutely. One of the questions I have is, how do we handle our finances between the two of us? He likes to say I hide money. I don't hide money, you guys. He swears I do, but I don't. We have joint accounts, so the stuff goes into the same account. I have access to his accounts. He has access to my accounts. Meaning my name is on his stuff, his name is on my stuff. And so therefore we have joint accounts. So I see what's coming in, he see what's coming in, we both see what's going out. And so if your spouse or your partner has healthy spending habits, I think joint accounts are okay. Now, if your spouse or partner or whomever does not have healthy spending habits, meaning if the check get in there and all of a sudden you blink twice and it's gone and y'all can't pay bills, this, that, and the third, then I would say personally, separate accounts are okay, because you still have to make sure your livelihood is taken care of. Right. You still have to make sure the roof stays over your head and that you can provide for your kids.
I kind of say that she hides money. Not that she hides money, but sometimes, let's say somebody hand her some cash, I might not know she had that cash until we go out and she decides to spend it. Like, where did you get that from?
That's not hiding.
But
that's selective sharing.
Sometimes it's good. I mean, when I don't necessarily hide it, but if I want to surprise her with something, or if I want to do something, then I will probably pull the money out of the account and then go pay for it in cash, kind of like that. And the funny thing is, now that I think about it, she got her money and then was asked to spend my money before she done with her money. But both our monies be together.
That's love.
Call it what you want. But having joint accounts is really wonderful. It's a great thing when you guys, that shows a lot of trust as well. If you guys gotta have separate accounts, that kind of shows that I don't necessarily trust you to know what I got, and I don't really care what you got, type of thing. And so that really builds that type of trust as well in the relationship.
That goes hand in hand with the needed conversations, the conversations that need to be had. Finances is a conversation that needs to be had. And just as a reference point, if you guys want to check out that video on expected conversations, go ahead and click that link that's up there, because we absolutely did a video that explains to you guys the necessity for having certain conversations before marriage.
I thought this was a little funny to me. How do you deal with haters or people that are not happy with your relationship? One thing that is for certain, you will always have somebody that dislikes what you do. It doesn't matter how good it is, doesn't matter how grand it is, doesn't matter how much somebody else is going to appreciate it. Somebody behind you is always going to have something to say about what you got going on. And so when it comes to people that dislike your relationship or that are hating on your relationship, I say dust them off and keep moving. They have no say-so in how your relationship is going. They ain't got no say-so in how she gonna run you or you gonna run her, or how things are gonna happen in your household. So they can speak and talk all they want to. You guys live out the love that you have, and when they dispel whatever they want to talk about, your love will dispute all of that. You know, I used to tell my basketball boys that when we get on the court, we don't do a whole bunch of talking. We let our game speak for ourselves. If they want to say what they got to say, cool. But let them say it, and when we're done, we point at the scoreboard and we move on. And so that's the same thing with love. You let people talk, let them say what they got to say. You display the love that you have for each other, and you keep moving.
Absolutely. I like that. I have a question that says, once married, if your spouse owed a large amount of child support, would you help pay the arrears? And in conjunction with the child support question, would you file taxes separately, or would you file together, risking your refund? All right, so I would have to look at this question in a couple of different ways. The first way is, yes, we're married. So once we have become married, your debt becomes my debt. And then we together figure out how we're going to pay it. Now, if you are in a situation where your tax refund is kind of like a lifesaver every year, then I would say file separately to not risk that. But when it comes to being married and when it comes to taxes and all that stuff, once you legally take your husband's name, I am almost positive that when it comes to taxes, whatever his debt is becomes your debt automatically. And so you would have to file separately if you did not want to risk your refund. However, just because you don't want to risk your refund doesn't mean that child doesn't become yours. That's your child too. Once you guys are married, the children have nothing to do with the money due, the money owed, nothing like that. And so I would say, if taxes is something that you depend on to support and or keep the family afloat, then file separately. If taxes is not something that you guys depend on and you guys are well off when it comes to finances, I say file jointly. Let the government do what it is they need to do as far as taking and paying back the arrears for the child support. That way it gets out of the way, and then you guys no longer have that debt over your head.
how can you prevent social media from affecting your relationship or marriage? So it becomes a really big thing for a couple of reasons. Relationships, or people tend to try and compare the relationship or what they're doing with other people. And that's something that you don't want to do. You never ever want to try and compare your relationship with somebody else's relationship. And so you want to make sure you can look at them great. Everybody shows love different ways. How wonderful, how nice, but you never want to say, how come we can't do that? Or let's go and do this. Oh, they did that, how come we can't? Because then you're placing something on your own relationship that might not be who you are. And so you never want to compare relationships. And then also, then there's another portion of that, how do I say, those haters that were there sometimes might become, or might be, not become, might be like past relationships or exes or something like that, that might have something to say about who you're with, or they might have something to say about how you treated them to the person you were with, whatever the case may be. Now that is between you and your spouse, you and your partner, who you're in a relationship with. Y'all gotta talk about that so that they know, you know, y'all in the same page. Hey, they gonna say this, they gonna say that, me and you together, this is what we got going on, and this is how we living our life. We're not gonna let them dictate how we are, but we have to make sure that that's out in the air and that's out in the open, so that it's not a surprise that it comes about. You got a baby that they never knew, that you never told your spouse about. That's something that come out on social media, that's gonna be a problem.
I would also add in that there should be no secrets. There should be no hidden passwords. There should be no hidden accounts. You know, he shouldn't have a Plenty of Fish or a blackpeoplemeet.com account that I don't know about. Because one, hello, you got a whole wife right here. So why is it that you have accounts that I don't know about? Also, your phone shouldn't be a well-kept secret. My thumbprint should open the phone just like yours. And so if there's something that I may be curious about or something that I may want to see, I should be able to pick your phone up and see it. There should be no secrets. There should be no hidden things. There should be no hidden agendas. The more open you are in your marriage and in your relationships, the harder it is for social media and for any other thing to come in and cause drama. We have multiple Instagram pages. For those of you out there that know us, we have multiple Instagram pages. We have two that we have together. We each have a separate one, and then we have one for the business. We have the passwords to all of those. We have the login for all of those. And so nothing is a secret. We can get into any account and look at anything. Our Facebook is shared. And so he gets the same notifications I get. It's not that we don't trust each other. It's that we don't trust other people. And there are men and women that'll try and slide in your DMs on the sneak, thinking, you know, everything is cool.
I think it's important, like you said, that you stay open about it. Somebody do say something to you and you did, what this one?
I'm quick to screenshot and send it. Like, baby, you see that?
And then you also, when that does happen, you also got to be the one that's ready to completely shut it down. Like, immediately shut that down. There's no type of oh, thank you, but nah, don't even say thank you. Shut it completely, 100% down.
So y'all know me, and y'all know my favorite show, right? Divorce Court. There was a lady on there, and she got all kinds of attention in her DMs. Her husband's problem with that is she never shut it down. She never was like, look, I got a man, bounce, blocked him, nothing. She, oh, thank you, oh, really? No, Don't entertain the drama. When you entertain the drama, that's when you are basically handing a boatload of poop into your marriage and your relationship, and then the two of you have to figure out how to get rid of it and clean it up.
All right, so another question that comes about is premarital counseling necessary? Here's my thought on premarital counseling. Yes, I think that two people that are completely different, that are coming together, that if you have not been together for quite some time, if you were dating for 4 or 5 years, whatever before, that's a long time to date, by the way. But if y'all was dating for like 4 or 5 years, and after that y'all deciding to get married, then hey, that's actually pretty good. Y'all had enough time. There's still some things that you could talk about within marriage counseling that will help you begin to gel and mesh together. Never think that marriage counseling is like a bad thing, or you gotta go there because everything is messed up or everything is wrong. No, that's simply something that can really just help you enhance what you already have. You go there, you say, hey, this is how I am, this is how I am, this is how we've come together. And we have learned to begin to use both of our attributes to strengthen our union together. And so you don't want to look at it as a bad thing. Now, if you got a lot of stuff going on between the two, there's probably something you want to look into. Before you jump the broom, you might want to go ahead and say, you know what, let's sit down and make sure that this is something that we want to do. And sitting down with somebody that is unbiased, somebody that is not going to take one side or the other. So a lot of the time, somebody that you don't even know, and I know they talk about going to like pastors and things like that, but sometimes if your pastor was related to the other person, or if the pastor knows about the other person's past, sometimes they can still offer a biased opinion. And so sitting down with somebody that knows neither of you and is able to discuss what you guys have going on would be beneficial for sure to your marriage. So don't look at premarital counseling or marriage counseling in general as a bad thing. Sometimes it might be needed.
Absolutely, absolutely. We, however, did not do marriage counseling before we got married, and I think that the beginning of our marriage could have benefited greatly from going to marriage counseling. We ended up taking the hard way around things, and stuff got rocky. Stuff got, let's just say it wasn't PG-13. It got bad. And I honestly think had we actually sat down and had a couple of conversations with a marriage therapist or a pastor or whomever, I think it would have been a little bit better for us. But we made it through. Most couples wouldn't have made it through some of the things that we actually pushed through. And so, do I encourage marriage counseling? I do. Only because it helps you communicate much better, and it helps you to take the selfishness out of communication and actually listen to your spouse and or your partner for understanding and clarification of why it is they feel that way or why it is they see things that way.
And so, like she said, because we didn't necessarily do it in the beginning, and now that we encourage it, now it's something that we ourselves do. We offer that to other people. You need to talk about your relationship, come let us know.
Absolutely.
And we will begin to help you now. A lot of our foundation, 100%, is going to be biblical. It just goes who we are.
That's who we are.
But we do also have the clinical side of it, if you will. the therapy side, as they say, the actual counseling side, because that does offer some good things to it as well. But you want to make sure that that biblical base is in there. That's what we offer. That's what we do. when we do other people or do other people.
That didn't sound right.
When we tell other people or when we
go.
counsel other people, other relationships, we do let them know that, absolutely.
Because we didn't put any rating on these questions, and so we got some heavy, juicy questions. So this next question is, if my spouse wanted a threesome, would I allow it? No. 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 No, I wouldn't. Only because that's me. That's us. We do not like to introduce other people into our marriage or our relationship. We're very selfish. I don't want nobody experiencing my husband, just like I'm sure he don't want nobody experiencing me. And we definitely don't want to experience nobody else together. That's just not our cup of tea.
I'm selfish too. There's no way around it.
No way whatsoever.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Even in the very beginning of our relationship, I didn't necessarily like people looking at her too long. Forget saying something. I don't want you looking too long. I mean, I've come past that now. Now I don't mind it. Sometimes I walk behind and I watch all the guys look at her. I tell her, look, watch him look at him looking at you like that. Now I don't mind it because I know what I got and I know it's mine. Here's the thing. I normally tell people that, be like, oh, well, you shouldn't be jealous. You shouldn't be this. We have a sense of jealousy as human beings. And why do you say that? Here's what the Bible tells us is that God created us in his image and his likeness. Both of those, his image and his likeness. One of those first commandments that God talks about, he says, I am a jealous God, and you'll have no other gods before me. And because I have the same characteristics as him, then when I get something that's my own, then yes, I have a sense of jealousy, a sense of ownership. That's how God feels about us. These are my people. I made them. I created them. And so I don't want them with nobody else. Same thing in your marriage. You can absolutely say, that's mine. I don't want them with nobody else. I don't want you to look at nobody else, be with nobody else. Now, don't go overboard and be envious and be controlling. Now, that's a little bit too far.
Following her to work.
I'm not talking about that. That's beyond jealousy. That's beyond jealousy. But
it's 19. You should have been here 2 minutes ago.
That's too much. That's too much. But letting them know, but that also gives them a sense of security in you and them. Them knowing that, dang, I'm glad they want me and only me. That gives them a sense of security. That makes them feel a little bit better about who they are and who they're with in the relationship. And so absolutely not would I condone a threesome in a relationship.
Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming to check us out on our Q&A. However, this is not the end of the Q&A.
Yes.
We've gotten so many questions that we have to actually split it up into maybe 2 or 3 separate videos. But I can give you a sneak peek of next Thursday's video. The first question we will be answering in next Thursday's video is, how much sex should you expect during marriage or in marriage? So, if you haven't done so already, please do us that favor and click that red button that's underneath that says subscribe. And click the bell over to the side so that you get all the notifications when we post videos every Thursday.
Oh yeah.
And until next time, everybody, peace.